Hello there, my name is Hido and welcome to the Pantheon. Today we're delving into the Forgotten Realms and we're going to meet some sort of dwarf man. I actually have no idea who this is in terms of story or anything like that, so I do apologise. All I know is that he costs 4 mana in the world of magic and he's called Bruenor Battlehammer and he's carrying an axe. Why hasn't he got a hammer? Is there a story reason? I've no idea. But he's a dwarf warrior and he's a 5/3. Each creature you control gets +2 per soul for each equipment attached to it. And you may pay 0 rather than pay the equip cost of the first equip ability you activate each turn. So even though he's from Dungeons and Dragons, he's fitting very much into the box of Boros sort of artifacts, you know, equipment sort of things, which is a bit dull, but it is quite a cool card, and getting free equips is really, really strong. So if you think that my ability to make videos is strong, why don't you subscribe? Oh, I'm sorry about that. Please subscribe. I'm going to be making a video like this for every single legendary creature that's ever been printed in Magic, and yeah, it might be fun to join me. Anyway, let's get on to the top 5 for this specific card. In at number 5, we've got Forging the Tyrite Sword. 3 mana for an enchantment saga. When it enters, or after your draw step, you tick this up once at a time. So for the first thing, you create a treasure token, which is an artifact you can sacrifice for a mana of any colour. And then for the second, exactly the same. So red and white, historically, and just in general, very poor at ramp. This is a great card as it just helps you accelerate ahead and get to your commander, get to any other big sort of spells you want to play. But the main reason I want to play this card is the third ability. Search your library for a card named Halvar, God of Battle, or an equipment card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and then shuffle your library. This commander is very much focused on equipment, and searching one up is fantastic. And Halvar does a lot of the things this deck wants to do. Halvar, God of Battle is a 4 mana 4/4 god. Creatures you control that are enchanted or equipped have double strike. So not only is our commander going to be buffing every one of our equipped creatures, but Halvar will give them double strike. So they're going to just smash in for tons of damage. At the beginning of each combat, you may attach target aura or equipment attached to a creature you control to target creature you control. So if you've equipped it maybe to the wrong thing, Halvar can move it across and then get swinging in. But on the rear end of Halvar, there is Sword of the Realm. So you can either cast Halvar or this equipment to go equipping onto creatures. Wonderful. 2 mana for an equipment. Quick creature gets +2/+0 and has vigilance. Whenever a quick creature dies, return it to its owner's hand. So that means that we can recast it, get a bit of value off that. Absolutely fantastic. And the equip cost is 2, although our commander will reduce that to 0. Then Guard Armory is a land that is fantastic in this deck. And having lands is just so free. You get the effect for playing lands. You need to do that in Magic. It enters the battlefield taps, which is the downside, and it taps for a white. Then you can pay 1 generic and double red and white and tap it, sacrifice it. Search your library for an aura card or an equipment card, reveal them, put them into your hand and shuffle your library. Now, there's a lot of tutoring in this deck and we're going to be searching for very specific things. But Armored Sky Hunter is a 4 mana 3/3 that doesn't exactly tutor, but it does look through your deck and it's an attacking creature and it equips things for free. It's a flying 3/3 cat knight, and whenever it attacks, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may put an aura equipment card from among them onto the battlefield. If an equipment is put onto the battlefield this way, you may attach it to a creature you control. Put the rest of those cards on the bottom of your library in a random order. So it equips for free, and we've got some meaty equipment in here, simply because our commander allows us to equip them for free. So this putting something on for free is free, absolutely free. Speaking of free, Stonehewer Giant, 5 mana for a 4/4 with Vigilance, Giant Warrior. Can pay 2 and tap him. Search your library for an equipment card and put it onto the battlefield. Attach it to a creature you control. Then shuffle your library. So another free way of equipping a massive thing. And the really cool thing about Stonehewer Giant is because he has Vigilance, you can attack with him mid-combat, activate his ability, and put the equipment straight onto him. So then he's an absolutely massive threat, swinging in for tons of damage. Finally, we've got Godot, Bandit, Warlord. 6 mana for a 3/3 human barbarian. When it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for an equipment card and put it onto the battlefield. If you do, shuffle your library. Doesn't equip for free, but puts it straight to the battlefield. Whenever it attacks for the first time each turn, untap it and all samurai you control. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase. So, an extra combat phase, but only for samurai. But if they have things like Stonehewer Giant, which has vigilance, well, it doesn't matter if they're a samurai. They can attack again. So, that's pretty goddamn good, really, isn't it? Coming in at number 4, we have Arden, Intrepid Archaeologist. 3 mana for a 2/2 Core Scout. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may attach any number of auras and equipments you control to target permanent or player. So yes, our commander can, move one, for free. But what if we want to just load up one creature and get swinging? This can pile everything onto it, and then our commander will give it absolutely tons of buffs. To go along with this, we got Armory Automaton. 3 mana for an artifact construct. Creature. It's a 2/2, and when it enters the battlefield or attacks, you may attach any number of target equipments to it. This just concentrates all of your firepower onto this guy, and if someone's wiped the board, it's a great hit. You just place it down, it equips everything, and you can just get to swinging straight away. Heavenly Blademaster, a very similar card. 6 mana for a 3/6 with flying and double strike, so it hits incredibly hard. And it enters the battlefield, you may attach any number of auras or equipments you control to it. Other creatures you control get +1/+1 for each aura and equipment attached to Heavenly Blademaster. That is a really cool ability. If we've gone very wide with a couple of tokens, some incidental creatures, having everything piled onto this will buff absolutely everything on the board. It's very much like Kratos, and you can just swing in for tons of damage. Pure Steel Paladin, double white for a 2/2. Whenever equipment enters the battlefield under your control, you may draw a card, so excellent bit of card advantage. But the really cool thing is Metalcrafts, which means if you control 3 artifacts, equipment you control has equip 0. That's pretty good. And that's for every single equipment, and not just the first one each turn. So we can just put everything onto everything else, just keep moving things about, which is pretty sweet. Then, what are the sort of creatures we want to pile all of these equipments onto? Kimber Car Regent is a 3 mana 2/4 cat cleric. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a 2/2 white cat creature token for each equipment attached to Kemba. So if Kemba survives the turn, or you've got an instant speed way of putting them all on, Kemba will generate you an absolutely massive board of tokens. Then Wylath Soul of Steel, 3 mana for a 2/2 with Trampler. Whenever Wylath attacks, you draw a card for each aura and equipment attached to it. So this is something we just want to pile everything onto, and then we're going to create a ton of value from him attacking. Then Valduk, Keeper of the Flame, 3 mana for a 3/2. At the beginning of combat on your turn, for each aura and equipment attached to Valduk, Keeper of the Flame, create a 3/1 Rail Elemental creature token with Trample and Haste. Exile those tokens at the beginning of your next turn step. So you can start the turn, Kemba's got everything, she generates a bunch of cats, you fly everything over to Valduk, he generates a bunch of elementals, and you just crash in for a ton of damage. Really, really cool. Which brings me on to number 3. And in number 3, we've got a couple of equipments that have colossal equip costs. And Colossus Hammer is one of them. 1 mana for an artifact equipment. Quick creature gets +10% and loses flying, but equip cost of 8. So with our commander, this equips for 0. So for 0 mana each turn, you can move it to a different creature and give it +10%, and it does lose flying. If you're carrying something that heavy, it makes sense. But these sort of cards are exactly what you want in this commander. You can just absolutely plow in for tons of damage using them. Then Argentum Armour. Argentum. 6 mana for an equipment. A quick creature gets +6/+6. And whenever a quick creature attacks, destroy target permanent. Equip for 6. So with our commander, equip for 0. And you're going to blow up the biggest threat on the field, which is really nice. And, if there's no threats, just start working on people's lands. You'll be laughing. They'll be looking pretty unhappy with you. But, you probably win the game, maybe. Probably not, but You just get heated out of the game because of blowing lands up. Battle Skull is a 5 mana equipment with a living weapon, so it comes in with a 0/0 germ that has this attached to it. Quick creature gets +4/+4 and has vigilance and lifelink. You can pay 3 to return Battle Skull to its owner's hand, so if someone tries to blow it up, just bounce it back. Then a quick cost of 5, but 0 with our commander. Woohoo! Really nice. Then we're looking at Black Blade Reforged. 2 mana for an equipment. Quick creature gets +1/+1 for each land you control. Quick legendary creature for 3, or equip for 7. Or equip for 0 with our commander. Ooh, you can see the synergy flying out of the screen, can't you? Which brings me on to number 2. And at number 2, we've got Leonin Shikari. 2 mana for a 2/2. You may activate equip abilities anytime you could cast an instant. So, our commander does say that it's 0 each turn. So, on our opponent's turn, it will also be 0. So, why don't we make use of that and throw a couple of equipments around? Another couple of ways to do that here. Auriok Windwalker, 4 mana for a 2/3 with flying. Tap it, attach target equipment you control to target creature you control. Pretty good. Then we've got Barlin Wandering Knight, who's a colossal threat in this deck. 4 mana for a 3/3 with first strike. He has double strike as long as you have 2 or more equipments attached to him. Pay 2, attach all equipment you control to Barlin. That's a great way of moving everything about. And then you can just slam it. And there's a lot of cats in this deck, actually. Cats seem to really enjoy equipment. Then Brass Squire, 3 mana for a 1/3. Tap, attach target equipment to you control to target creature you control. Really, really good. Excellent use. And what sort of equipments do we want to be equipping at instant speed? Well, Sunforger is the main one. 3 mana for an equipment. A quick creature gets +4/+0, so +6/+0 with our commander out. Pay 2, a red and a white. Unattached Sunforger. Search your library for a red or white instant card with converted mana cost 4 or less, and cast that card without paying its mana cost. Then shuffle your library. Equip for 3. So, with Sunforger out and our commander and Leonin Shikari or whatever it was called, Shakira, what we can do is equip on our turn, go to our opponent's turn, pay 2, unattach it, get an instant sorcery, Swords to Plowshare, something, a little bit, ooh, crazy. And then equip at instant speed for free using our commander. So this generates just absolutely tons of value. And here are some of the cool cards that you could get. Master Warcraft is a 4 mana instant. Cast a spell only before attackers are declared. You choose which creature attacks this turn. You choose which creatures block this turn and how those creatures block. So what we can do is, use this from Sunforger, re-equip Sunforger, and then unattach Sunforger to cast Fight to the Death, which is a 2 mana instant. Destroy all blocking creatures and all block creatures. For some sort of weird 2-card board wipe. I mean, Fight to the Death is a cool card by itself. The artwork is incredible. It just looks so gritty. I love the sun beaming over everything. Maybe it's because it makes everything look orange, and orange is my favorite color, but it just looks so cool. Which brings me on to number 1. And this set of cards are cards that I've always wanted to put in an equipment deck, but I've always thought, these are pretty garbage. And they are, but we can build a theme around this. They are cards like Heartseeker. 4 mana for an equipment. A quick creature gets +2/+1 and has tap, unattach Heartseeker, destroy target creature. Equip for 5 mana. So we can turn every one of our creatures into a tap, destroy something, and then we can equip for free to do it on something else. Absolutely just control the board. Really, really cool. And the art is so sick. Just look at that sort of aura around it, giving it all kinds of spikes. It just looks fantastic. Then, Shell Strike Trident is a 2 mana equipment. Quick creature gets first strike and tap. I'm sorry about this dog. It's my neighbour's. It's horrible. It just yaps and yaps and yaps. Tap, unattached Shell Strike Trident. This creature deals damage equal to the power to target player. Equip for 4 mana. So with this, if we've, piled a bunch of equipment onto something, we can tap this and take an opponent out of the battlefield. Then, Battle Mage's Braces is a brand new card. 3 mana for an equipment. A quick creature has haste. Whenever an ability of a quick creature is activated, if it isn't a mana ability, you may pay 1. If you do, copy that ability and you choose new targets for the copy. So with this, we can unattach one of these and just do the effect twice. So we can either deal an absolutely massive amount of damage or kill 2 creatures, then equip it to another thing and just keep going. Illusionist Braces is a 2 mana equipment. Whenever an ability of a quick creature is activated, if it isn't a mana ability, copy that ability. You may choose new targets for the copy. Exactly the same, except you don't have to pay the 1. So better, basically. But you do get to copy everything and you can blow things up. You can bolt your opponents for tons of damage. And then while we're tapping things, why don't we put it onto creatures that untap? Pillar Palla is a 2 mana artifact scarecrow. It's a 1/1 with flying. I didn't realise it had flying. So even this, you can put all your equipment on it, get in with all flying. You can pay 2 and untap it to add 1 mana of any colour to your mana pool. So with these tap effects, you can untap it for 2 mana, it generates a mana, tap it, and then you just need 1 mana to, you can just keep destroying everything. Then Umbral Mantle is a 3 mana equipment. Quick creature has 3, untap it. This creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. And a quick cost is 0 by default. So you can just keep moving this around for free. And then if you have one of your tap equipments, use this to untap it and just keep killing everything. Finally, Hate Flare is a massive dude. 7 mana for a 5/5 with Wither. Pay 3, untap it. It deals damage equal to its power to target creature or player. So again, if we've piled a bunch of equipments onto this, it can become, I don't know, 22/20 or something like that. 22/5 maybe, because it only buffs power. We can untap this to deal 22 damage to an opponent with Wither, which is really, really cool. So it can actually kill indestructible creatures. And those are my top 5 cards for this brand new commander. He's really, really cool. He's a dwarf. Does he live underground? Does he use his tools to mine? I don't know. I don't know the story. But I do know that he's a really sweet card. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, comment. And I'll see you soon. Bye.